From the sidelines to the state title, he's the heart of the Bulldogs, the mind behind the game plan, and the face of Kearney football, Coach Logan Minnick. And now, get ready for insight, highlights, and a look at what's ahead for your Kearney Bulldogs from the Bulldog Radio Network team. It's your all-access pass to Bulldog football. This is the Coach Minnick Show.
All right, welcome to the Coach Minnick Show. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with producer-engineer Brian Watts, who, without him, the nonsense in the booth would go on forever, and we would never have a broadcast. And I think that you could probably say the same is true in this studio. Right,
yes,
Kelly?
yeah,
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Especially Friday.
Yes,
there were some
indeed.
shenanigans going on.
That guy right there that you just heard speak and saw just a brief glimpse of, that's Kelly Gentry, and he's going to be here with us today for the rest of this Coach Minnick Show. That guy over there is the guy. He is the dude. He is Coach Minnick. And Coach, congratulations on another butt whooping. That's the nice way to say it. Not what I wanted to say, but I'll keep it clean on this show. But starts with A and ends with S. And you guys just got after him. I wanted to tell you, too, a fun fact that you didn't know, it seems, when you first walked in here, is that the Bulldogs have scored 130 points in their last two games, which is, that's a little excessive, don't you think?
We weren't trying to get that high. It just kind of happened that way. As you guys know, I've never been one to, run a score up or anything. 67 is the 6-7.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Get out of the way now.
There we go.
Get it out of the way.
I didn't even realize until I hear Coach Wrestler on the audio. The score is 6-7, Kearney. I'm like, oh, goodness. So that wasn't intentional, but 67 is the second most points I've ever scored. 68 in the state game was it, and that's not a normal number. We normally get into the 60s, but proud of our kids' effort, and I'm also not the guy that, at the end of the game we're gonna start taking knees or do something to prevent it. You get your young kids in there, and if they happen to score, we're not throwing the football, we're handing it off right up the middle, and if those young kids work and get in the end zone, it is what it is at that point. So, and proud of the way our young offense came in and moved the football. So that was good for those guys to get in there and do that. And most importantly, we get a district win, and we came out healthy. We got our kids in there, got out, got the win, and progressed to this week.
Outstanding. And we know right now the Bulldogs are going to host Savannah tomorrow night, and we'll get a little more into them. But the cool thing about that is the winner gets to take the trophy home for district champion. Kearney had 290 rushing yards from 9 different running backs. Dryden Hendricks led the way with 77 yards on 5 carries, and and a touchdown. I was thinking of Matthew Lindsay because I was going to get to him. Bear with me, Kelly. Matthew Lindsay, who was our player of the game, with 8 carries for 67 yards and 4 touchdowns, had one heck of a great evening. And let's first of all, hats off to Dryden Hendricks, who's just been terrific this year. Corbin Emmons, terrific. All those guys. But the other night, Lindsay just absolutely lit it up.
Yeah, that's all we needed was to add more, elite guys to the stable of running backs we have back there. But yeah, I was really excited for the night that Matt had. That was awesome. And the crazy thing is, when we get into that 3-back offense, we're not intentionally, calling for the ball to go to one running back or the other. And a lot of the stuff, Carter's checking at the line, so it could go to any of the 3 at any point. And it just so happened that Matthew's calls were the ones down by the goal line, and the other thing that's awesome about those is when he's scoring those touchdowns, Corbin and Dryden are the 2 lead blockers on those. So it's crazy how unselfish, because we're unbelievably blessed back there to have. We've got 4 or 5 running backs on our team that would be the dude for several teams we play, and towed it 30 and 40 times a game. And like you said, Dryden only got it 5 times. Lindsay only got it 8 times. I think Corbin was in that, 6 or 7 carry range. So got 6'7", there it is again.
But stop doing that.
Gosh, it's jinx now. I got to get it out of there. But again, so it's fun to have that, and it was really good. And I thought Matthew did a great job in his post-game interview because I think you did see early on there's a lot that goes into our offense, especially for the running backs, because we line them up everywhere, all over the field, and you've got to know. I mean, you have to know the whole offense to play running back in our offense, and it's all the stuff that we try to make simple for the offensive line, all the smoke and mirror stuff in the back end is pretty extensive for the running backs. So I thought he said it best. He just looks confident now. He knows where he's going. He's playing full speed rather than thinking. And I thought this was the first week where he's really, as he said in his interview, where he ran behind his pads. Like, I thought early on he kind of tiptoed in there some, and we got that corrected, but he's a heck of a ball player, and now you've got to account for 3 guys back there in the backfield at all times.
Yeah, we were talking about it being a 3-headed horseman during the broadcast with those 3 guys, and then you throw Carter Temple into the mix, who's a very effective runner. That's got to give opposing defensive coordinators nightmares trying to plan for the Kearney running game.
Oh, for sure, and, in the games, haven't called for recently for Carter to tote it as much in games, and that's been intentional of, we don't need to run him as much here. Now going forward, you may see 15, you tote it a little bit more than what you've seen, and again, when you have that kind of talent quarterback, we're going to utilize it. And when you run that quarterback, now you have 3 blockers out of the back end, and all 3 running backs who we just talked about are unselfish and great blockers in the run game. So anytime you can add an additional blocker and then run at people with a 220-pound quarterback, you're not too upset about that. But yeah, really proud of the way those kids played. And then shout out to the offensive line and Drew Nelson up front, because we didn't throw many passes whatsoever, and they just took that game over. And I knew on the first play we run just our blast play, 9 yards to the left. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna. Yeah. I'm going to call this play at least 30 more times this evening. So just proud of the kids' effort, and we were very dominant running the football for sure.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were joking about it, but some of those holes on the offensive line, I think Eric mentioned we could have drove Brian's truck through them. I mean, it was big holes, and it was really cool to see. Like you said, Lindsey just looked confident, and you really got to see that elite speed that he has too when he got to the outside.
Bulldog defense held Van Horn to 73 rushing yards and 102 passing. I think a lot of that 102 came from late in the game from Van Horn. But great job. And every week, and I want to give a shout out to Coach Backus. He sends us his sort of just synopsis, and it's always fun because he adds a little fun flavor to it. But he did point out that Dax Matthews, we called Dax Matthews' name several times, but he had a bunch of great tackles on the kickoff team. And Sam Way had the recovered onside kick by Grant Bogert. And Brad Dahl found Matt Lindsay to convert on that fake extra point, which, by the way, we weren't sure if that was a broken play or if that was drawn up.
He's smiling.
It's drawn up. I know you're going to tell me.
We knew going in, and again, we spend so much time on that third of the game. We knew when they would rush, they would only put 1 guy to cover 2 eligibles to that side. So we knew at some point if we needed it, or if, like happened Friday, we just got a little pissed off, and 2's worth more than 1. So we knew we had that play in there, and that's a shout out to Coach Wendell for picking that up on film and knowing. And he's in the headset in my ear. Hey, we got the 2 if you want it. Well, let's take the 2 and get after it. But yeah, and Brad's done that exact play. We've ran it, a couple times a year, every year since he's been a sophomore. So he's very comfortable. And again, that goes back to having a backup quarterback who's your holder. The possibilities on some of that stuff is endless.
Now, you mentioned that there was, it got chippy in there. We saw it. Everybody, anybody that witnessed the game saw it. There was about 5 minutes where it felt like that Van Horn was controlling the clock. And they had that sustained drive that it culminated with Adarius Scruggs. He was actually hit at about the 1 yard line, and we think from where we were standing, we couldn't see it, that he was able to sort of reach across the goal line for the touchdown, break the plane of the goal.
It looked a little shy from the angle that Eric had. So,
it was worth 6 points, and then they kicked the extra point. But can we talk about that on the air?
Yeah. It's bang bang play. You never know. And in high school, you don't have cameras that go right down the goal line to know. And obviously, we're biased on our side. The kids were like, there was nowhere close, which obviously they're going to say that. But and we just told the kids, regardless, officials are going to make calls, good, bad, or indifferent. We can't let them get down there inside the 1 yard line where those kind of plays happen, regardless. Now, proud of the effort and punching the ball out, and would have been a huge goal line stand had it gone the other way, but it didn't. But on that drive, we had a 4th down where we had a pass interference where we're early. We had a 15-yard personal foul on that. So there's 30 yards in penalties that we gave away on that drive. And I think that was it. The game kind of felt like, oh, well, maybe Van Horn's going to be in this game, when in reality it was us shooting ourselves in the foot to let them down there. And I think once that happened and some few select butt chewings happened on the sideline, we woke up, and then their kids started chirping a little when they got 7 points, and then we rattled off 50 in a row before they scored again. So, but again, it's just one of those things, and and they're a good football team. That's a 7-3 football team that's won a lot of games. So, and they had some good players, but I think we definitely aided them on that touchdown drive.
It felt like something, just a light switch went off. 37 unanswered points after that, what Mike was talking about, 37 unanswered, kind of led off by the interception by Luke.
Right.
That seemed to, at least from our perspective, kind of ignite something that happened right there.
Yeah, because, on that, they go down as 14-7, and we had just absolutely moved the football at will offensively, and then we come out. We have an incompletion on 1st down. Then we get another personal foul penalty. So now we're 2nd and 20 plus. So we have to punt it away. And from that point on, like you said, they could have went down and tied it and make it 14-14 or whatever. But it's 2 plays later, John Luke gets the interception.
Right.
And then it was over from that point on.
Exactly right. And I think it was over at that point before the 51-7 halftime break, and but it was just a devastating shift in momentum. And after a terrific interception from Tuckingham, and what Jim said, it looked like one of the turf gremlins got a hold of his foot.
Yeah, we were laughing about that this week. He tripped over Connor Dampier.
Okay.
And I thought if John Luke would have just slowed down, he was so excited that he had the football. He slows down, Connor makes the block, and he probably runs it in, but he tripped over Connor's feet. So we laughed all week about, because we gave Connor a bunch of crap about the week that he was supposed to get a touchdown. We ended up handing him a 2-point conversion, and then the guys behind him got touchdowns. Well, he didn't get a touchdown, so we've now said, well, Connor's not letting anybody else have touchdowns either at that point. But heck of a play by John Luke there, and we really enjoyed that, and we need to start taking the football away. We've been pretty notorious for starting to really get our turnovers in the playoffs, and we started trending in that direction.
Yeah, the special teams too that Coach Backus had mentioned was just awesome. That onside kick was terrific, and it's one of those things that you. Look, those footballs are not round, and you never know where it's going to go, and so and yet when I look at when you guys attempt such a thing, there's a level of confidence that we feel that I'm sure that you guys, and I know how much you guys practice it, so it's. You stand a chance. I think a better chance of making it than not.
Yeah, it's something that's kind of funny that we talk about at times. We feel like at times teams will try to hide a kid on kickoff return. We call them the orange cone. Like there may as well just be an orange cone there, rather. But it's like you always find, and teams will try to hide them on the front line of kickoff return. And I don't understand. You can tell you look when you break down film, you're like, who's number 12?
Yeah.
He doesn't play offense. He doesn't play defense. You're like, oh, mom must be on the school board.
Yeah.
There's something going on here that you would put this kid in this situation.
Right.
And we're going to kick the ball at that kid every time. We take advantage of those. Now, we didn't execute our surprise onside kick. Prior to that, we didn't quite kick it far enough on that. But then on the one we did recover, we had the 15-yard penalty. So you're kicking off from their 45. I think in my career, I'm probably 90% onside kick in that situation. Because worst case, they recover it, they get it on their 35 rather than blast it to the end zone. They get it at the 20. So to me, it's worth the 15 yards there to attempt it, knowing because worst case scenario, they're going to get it on their 35 rather than the 20 with a chance to get it.
Yeah, really take advantage of that kicking yardage where you're at there. Jim likes that rule too.
Right.
Jim's in Chicago today. Shout out to Jim.
Yep.
But that was something that we talked about is, hey, take advantage of that in that situation.
Yeah.
So. And
I had to. I listened to the broadcast again on Saturday. I usually do when we're breaking down film. And I had to because Jim goes, well, there's 4 minutes left on the clock. We need to score three more times.
Yeah.
And so, he radioed down into my headset, and I was like, well, we better onside kick here to try to get our 4 scores in 4 minutes. If not, Jim may not let me back on the show. So,
right.
Just trying our best to keep Jim happy.
Well, he's
good luck.
I'm sure he's having a good time up in the Windy City when it's 65 degrees here in Kansas City and sunny. It's beautiful, beautiful football weather. I mean to tell you, I ran into Drew Nelson after the game the other night, and I just wanted to mention to him that he was. I think he might have been. Well, he was one of the guys that caught the 2-point conversion catch, and he looked so much like a tight end. Just the sort of the prototypical tight end, the way he caught the ball, and just the strength, the athleticism, everything about it said that tight end isn't just a blocker. That guy can catch, and it was just a beautiful catch in the end zone. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Drew doesn't get probably near the amount of catches that he would in other offenses, just because that's the style of football we play, but. You're right, and I thought this year he's been night and day better catching the football and running routes. And as you've seen, we line him up in the slot or as an outside receiver. And I think we've given him a shout out prior that he's spent a lot of time in the offseason really working on his hands and route running and making himself more athletic, in the passing game for that opportunity. And I think we've utilized him pretty well in the passing game all year and will continue to do so.
Yep. Let's take a quick break. You're listening or watching the Coach Minnick Show, and we're having a great time after a big win against, who was it again? Van Horn. Yeah, quickly we forget. I know. We got a big game coming up, though. We'll talk about it when we come back. Stay with us on the Coach Minnick Show.
Dings, dents, or a full-on fender bender. When life happens to your car, you can trust the team that's been fixing it right for over 40 years. At CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, expert collision repair, precision paint matching, and detailing come standard with customer care that goes the extra mile. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 816-628-5621, or you can stop in for a repair estimate at 104 West Main Street in Kearney. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, where your car gets the care it deserves.
The air you breathe inside your home plays a critical role in your overall health and wellness. Harmful contaminants like asbestos, lead, and mold are hidden hazards that can be lurking in your home or office. Since 2013, the indoor air quality experts at EcoSafe Environmental Services have been detecting and eliminating harmful contaminants, improving indoor air quality, and creating safe, healthy living spaces. You can learn more at 816-598-4111 or at ecosafekc.com. You deserve a healthy home. Stay safe with EcoSafe.
Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. were shut down for hours tonight. It comes after American Airlines says a plane blew out several tires after landing.
Flight 1551 blew one of its tires during takeoff.
4 tires blew out.
A disabled aircraft on the runway can easily shift from a simple inconvenience to an airport operations nightmare. The unfortunate outcome can often lead to a complete airport closure and, in some cases, significant airport financial losses. The solution is easy: Planescape. Planescape was designed as a simple, innovative method of removing disabled aircraft from your runway, quickly, safely, and efficiently. Planescape is manufactured for both civilian and military aircraft. The sturdy design makes quick work of moving everything from corporate jets, turboprops, large, medium, and small piston twins, and almost every single-engine aircraft, including tailwheel and warbirds. Planescape is extremely versatile and easy to use on multiple airport surfaces. Planescape traverses large runway cracks, sand, dirt, and gravel with ease. Potholes, ice, snow, and grass are no challenge to Planescape's mobility. And best of all, in most cases, you can clear a runway in less than 15 minutes with Planescape. Now that's a game changer that'll keep your runway open. Discover more about keeping your airport operations running smoothly. Visit Planescape.com and keep that runway open.
Hey, Outlaw Jim here to tell you about Nextran GMC. Are you tired of confusing prices with advertised rebates that you don't qualify for? And what are all those extra fees added on at the end? At Nextran GMC, they believe buying your next vehicle should be simple and straightforward. Their transparent buying process is designed to save you time and money with no surprises. It's easy, it's honest, and it's all for you. Visit them at nextrangmc.com or take a short drive on 435. They don't just look different than other dealers, they are.
Every minute of every day, we reach your audience on air, online, and in more places than any other media. Prime Broadcast Group. Exactly where you need to be.
Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School. Your Kearney Bulldogs defeat Van Horn big time, 67-20 here in the district semifinal game, joined by junior running back Matthew Lindsay, who had a huge night tonight. And the first thing I wanted to ask you, Matt, is first year here at Kearney High School. What's this experience been like for you so far, coming over here and joining the Kearney Bulldogs this year?
I mean, just the team bringing me in was awesome. I mean, my first day here, they kind of like, I was real nervous, so they brought me in together, and they made sure I wasn't like the only man on the team that didn't have any friends. So it was it's very awesome.
Well, you've been a contributor all year, doing a lot of blocking from the running back position, carrying the ball some. Tonight, really a featured back, I'll say. Tonight had 4 touchdowns and over 60 yards in the first half alone. Talk to us a little bit about your comfort level with the offense and what you were able to do tonight.
I mean, yeah, as you can see, first couple weeks I was very nervous, and I didn't know the playbook the best as I do now. But now that I kind of understand it more, I feel like very more comfortable. I'm like really running behind my pads now, so I feel like that's where I'm at tonight.
Well, you did a tremendous job, and tonight you guys had over 220 yards rushing in the first half. So talk to us a little bit about the offensive line and what was happening up front for you guys to have that much production out of the run game.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line worked all week. They're in the shoots every single day. They're getting better, and we tell them as running backs, like, heck of a block, and we couldn't be any more proud than what they did tonight.
They did a super job. You guys also have a special thing for the seniors where they are able to speak to the entire team on Mojo Night. What did you think about that, your first experience going through that?
Well, actually, they tricked me, and they said that they were going to sacrifice a chicken, but that never happened, so I'm glad that never happened. But it was awesome. It was a great experience, and it's a very cool moment for the seniors to step up and like really speak to one another. So.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on a big night tonight. Kearney wins the semifinal in the district to advance to the district championship game next Friday. Kelly Gentry here with junior running back Matthew Lindsay.
All right, welcome back to the Coach Minnick Show. Coach, is it safe to say there were no animals harmed at the Mojo?
That was absolutely hilarious. That was a Coach Wendell. Coach Wendell got those boys on that because we do what we call Mojo Night, which is a really cool night. And this is something that Greg Jones started 20 years ago. This was the 20th year of it. He started all the way back in 2006. So it was something I was part of as an assistant here. I know Coach Gray continued it. I think it's a really cool tradition where the seniors get to speak to their teams. We always do it the night before the last guaranteed game, so before your first playoff game. And it's just an opportunity. The seniors, we've got a big burn barrel, and we keep the mojo and the ashes every year from that fire, and we put it, so we've got ashes from all the way back in 2006 all the way through now.
Wow.
We put it all back in, and then you'll see Kendall Davis is our mojo captain. He'll walk up the sideline before the game and shake some of that ash out to get our mojo going. But it's really cool. The seniors really take time. I was so proud of this year's group. They took a lot of time, and like they wrote these novels on their phones about, they talk about what the program's meant to them, favorite memories, advice for underclassmen. And then there are so many awards, or they're not even awards, they're little things that have been passed down from players to player. Like there's a wide receiver ball that's got signatures on it all the way from like back in 2008. The linebacker chalkboard, or there's just all these things that are passed down every year. So it's a really awesome and cool thing. But on that, Coach Wendell, I think Matthew or Dryden, I don't know which, we got them both on it, asked, what's Mojo Night? And Coach Wendell's like, well, Greg Jones was the head coach here, and he was the Raging Cajun, and, this was a Louisiana voodoo type deal. He goes, we're going to sacrifice a live chicken. And I think we got Matthew pretty good on it. Because Coach Wendell comes and tells me, so I'm like, I'm going to play into this too. Yeah. So right when we got done with Thursday practice, I tapped Dryden and I said, hey, I got to go get that chicken now. And he said, we're really doing it. Yeah, we're every year. It's like, but so we had them convinced that we were sacrificing live chicken to get our mojo going. But again, cool night. So proud of the night Matthew had. That was a really cool experience, and I think he hit it on the head. He's playing confident football now.
That's hilarious, and of course, Matthew Lindsay. I told you, we were just talking about this. I said, I get those two mixed up. It's the man with two first names or two last names. Yeah. But nonetheless, Matthew, sir, you are, as you know, our Conrad's player of the game. And just congratulations to you for a terrific night. And I'm glad you took it with a grain of salt, at least up until the last minute, about the sacrificed chicken. Yeah. So hopefully you went and got a bucket of the Colonel after that to make up for it, because it probably is making you hungry. It's making me hungry right now. But that is hilarious. Such a great story, a fun backstory. And I was not aware of all of the ongoings of the. I knew about Mojo Night, but I didn't realize some of the details of it. That's really, really cool, and a neat kind of a brotherhood in a way. Right. That it creates over, and it sounds like generational now. That goes clear back to the very beginnings of Kearney Bulldog football. Yeah, it's a really awesome experience. I mean, you get everything from laughter to tears to some anger in there at times. It's a raw emotional night, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Almost like a rite of passage there, like you said, for the seniors to do that and hand that down. And I think Jarrett mentioned it in his interview as well. So very cool.
Let's mention some of the defense, and again, thanks to Coach Backus. Thanks for Coach for sort of helping me with my getting the on-show script going for me, giving me something to talk about in case I forget, which I might. The defense was great. John Luke Tucking. I love when you guys call him John Luke. That's his real name, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. That's John Luke Tucking and Landon Wiederholt, who snatched interceptions, and defensive lineman Grant Bogert, Lane Cook. Lane Cook, by the way, we'll talk about him in a minute too. Mason Beaver, Isaac Beaver clogging up the middle along with Aiden Ariano, who we talk about every week, who fly around all over and make not just tackles, but punishing tackles. And but I did want to come back to Lane Cook because he's a guy that I feel like he snuck in there on me, and every once in a while I'll just see him just deliver a bam kind of a tackle, and it just comes out of nowhere. I go, there's that guy, 24, right? Number.
Yep.
If I have memorized his number, that tells you something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So proud of Lane and how he has progressed this year. You know, he was always a linebacker. He really bought into the weight room this offseason, put on some really good weight. So we moved him, closer to the line of scrimmage where he's playing a bunch of defensive end, and that's a brand new position. He's never played line in his life, so he's learning. Early in the season was really still learning it and started several games there when Mason was out. So got a ton of experience early, probably not getting as much PT as he would like right now, but at the same time, he's going against those kids every day in practice. You know, he's learning. Coach Swall's done a great job with our defensive line. But yeah, there's, as you said, there's times where it's like, whoa, who was that? Or
Yes. Yeah.
You see the flashes, and there's going to be more and more of that going forward.
You can definitely see the athleticism, and he's a kid, like you said, bought into the weight room. I didn't even hardly recognize him compared to last year, which makes sense with the move there. But Grant Bogert, another guy that's really been holding it down at the defensive end position, especially Clayton didn't play Friday,
Right.
but Grant doing a super job as well.
Yeah. Those two have battled because they didn't, going in the year, they didn't know how much PT they would get with all three senior defensive linemen back. And with us being a three front defense, that's tough. When you got three all conference guys back that were all juniors, two were first team all staters, you don't get a lot of PT there. But luckily we've got a lot of depth at that position to where, because we've had several weeks where Mason was out, several weeks where Clay's been out. And we haven't missed a beat defensively because those guys are ready to rock in there.
Did I mention this other fun fact about the two halves, the breakdown of the two halves, that last week the varsity, our varsity beat their varsity. If you break that game into two separate halves, our varsity beat their varsity 51-7. And then our JV beat their varsity, who, by the way, was throwing the football late in the late minutes of the fourth quarter, and we beat them 16-13. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the throwing the ball late there. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I always respect Coach if you want to continue to try to keep playing and some of that. I mean, at that point though, the white flag needed to be waved, and but regardless, so proud of the way our kids came in. I think you guys got to see just a little bit of what Cruz Emmons is going to be.
Absolutely.
I thought he looked game speed ready, to be a varsity back, when he got in there, and he was doing that. And this is not a bad thing about our second all line, but he's running the football like that behind the younger offensive line. So the stable will continue to be full of running backs here at Kearney, and he'll be the next good one for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
two touchdowns and
yes.
two 2-point conversions in that, and we've said it during the broadcast. We're like, wow, he looks ready.
He does, and in fact, you had mentioned, I believe it was in the last week's show, you mentioned that we'd probably see him on some special teams work, and all of a sudden we're watching him carrying the rock and taking it across the goal line, and wow, you're right. I mean, he would look just fine running behind that varsity, and nobody would know that he's the young guy.
Well, and Coach, and I knew related to that, running behind that line, you're excited about that second group offensive line. I mean, they did a really good job. Like you said, you saw that second team. They moved the ball effectively, able to score a couple of times. Maybe talk about that second group.
Yeah, for sure. This is back-to-back years. In the last 2 years, the JV is 17-1.
Wow.
So the program's rolling the way we want it to. They went undefeated this year. And that's a shout out to, we've got some really talented kids in our younger grades. So, I'll be a pretty good coach here for the next few years for sure. Just knowing what we got coming. But yeah, we're very excited about that. There's a core group of sophomore offensive linemen in there that are all just probably about a year away, which is good because we've got three seniors up front right now. So, Yeah, 3 seniors. But so we're excited about that group, and as you said, they came in there and didn't miss a beat, and they drove the football right down on the possessions they got.
Yeah, and it did. Look, you mentioned we were playing a team with a pretty darn good record, and they were playing into the second round of the district competition,
right.
And so it wasn't as if we were playing against, a bunch of B teamers, because
right.
that was a good football team over there. So yeah, really shout out to those young guys who won the second half. Let me put it that way, 16-13. Well done, gentlemen. Kelly, did you have something there?
No, even on the scoring, I was just going to mention, really, those 2 scores came in the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So it made it even look a little bit, but super job. And I think, Coach, you were able to get a lot of guys in the game, not just the second unit, but even some of the younger guys.
Yeah. I want to talk about Savannah now. I want to leave enough time here. We can filter in and sprinkle in any other thing that happens to come up. But I do want to talk about these guys because we beat them 34-7 last year, and I recall, if I'm not mistaken, excuse me, they had a really good running back that was kind of their go-to guy and real shifty, and I don't think that guy's back, but there's another guy that was behind him who well, you've seen the film, you tell me, who is pretty good, and their quarterback, I think you pronounce the K and Knechtenhofer, who looks about 3 times as big as he did last year. And I watched him play. I watched that game against Pius, and they were moving the football pretty easily.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the entire state, regardless of class. We talked about it, or I've talked to some other media outlets about, and there's been all the discussion about that Mission needs to reseed the playoffs once you get to this point. So, because technically, and the rankings don't really matter, but you've got the 1 ranked team against a 2 ranked team playing week 12 instead of week 15 or 14 or someone further down the line, which, it is what it is. If you're going to go win the thing, you got to beat the best teams. But I think, as fans, you'd like for this type of game to be further down the road. But yeah, and you're right. They've got one of the best quarterbacks around, and I feel like we've been tackling him for 5 years.
Right. Yes.
Finally, he's a senior. And yeah, you're right. They had a good back. I think that was 2 years ago. They had a really good back. But either way, both of those games, guys, have been close. The score doesn't indicate what either of those turned out. 2 years ago, it ended 35-13, but it was 21-13 in the middle of the third quarter. Mm-hmm. Our game last year was 14-0, and we scored right before half to make it, or it may have even been 14-0 at half. But it was, they've been in both those games, and last year they had a couple of miscues. They had an early fumble. They had a snap over the quarterback's head when they were driving it. So again, the score doesn't indicate what last year's game was either.
Well, and I think that answers my question as to, what's different about that team from last year. Not a whole lot from where I'm standing, because you got the same quarterback. Obviously, it's the same system they're running, and if you've got another running back in there who's able to carry the ball as well as they're doing, they're moving the football. From everything I can see, this is a team that is probably going to be the best team that we've seen in, let's just say, in about a month.
Yeah, they are 100% the best team we've seen.
Yeah.
In a long time.
Yeah.
And again, they've had us circled on their calendar all year wanting to get back to this point, because 2 years in a row we've ended their season, and they were really, really junior heavy last year. So those guys are all seniors this year, and so they know the heartbreak of what they felt coming to Kearney last year, so they'll be raring to go and ready to go. And, and Coach Hayes up there has done a phenomenal job. I think this is his 3rd year up there, and now they're in the discussion every year. And when it felt like for a few years there, you never even heard of Savannah. There's a Savannah in Missouri type deal, and now, they're one of the best football teams in the entire state. So, shout out to Coach Hayes. He does a really good job for those kids.
Yeah. In fact, I'm curious because you can sort of look at the districts being set up somewhat geographically, And it's been 3 years now, and even then I'm thinking, wait a minute, how did this team that's, just a stone's throw from the Iowa border in our district, how does something like that happen?
Yeah, Mission does their best too. As you said, it's, geographically located where you're at, and there's just some of them, like, that's just kind of an outlier that's kind of way up there, so it really doesn't fit somewhere kind of like, on the other side of the state. Odessa is in Class 4 this year, and they're playing at Hannibal. So it's just weird that Odessa was just far enough east that they ended up, on the other side of the bracket. It's just kind of they get the number of schools in each class, and then they try to just – and it's funny if you'd ever draw them how, there's some random outliers a little bit everywhere, and that's just kind of where Savannah is. We're just the furthest kind of northwest schools area, even though we've got Kansas City schools in it.
Well, and welcome to this district, because for years the winner of this district has a great chance of advancing, whether it's Kearney, Smithville, a long time ago, back to Platte County. I mean, this district has always been a bit of a gauntlet.
Right. Yep.
No doubt about it. Let's take another break real quick. We'll come back, talk a little bit more about Savannah and the rest of the team. Stay with us on the Coach Minnick Show.
The air you breathe inside your home plays a critical role in your overall health and wellness. Harmful contaminants like asbestos, lead, and mold are hidden hazards that can be lurking in your home or office. Since 2013, the indoor air quality experts at EcoSafe Environmental Services have been detecting and eliminating harmful contaminants, improving indoor air quality, and creating safe, healthy living spaces. You can learn more at 816-598-4111 or at ecosafekc.com. You deserve a healthy home. Stay safe with EcoSafe.
Hey, Outlaw Jim here to tell you about NextTran GMC. Are you tired of confusing prices with advertised rebates that you don't qualify for? And what are all those extra fees added on at the end? At NextTran GMC, they believe buying your next vehicle should be simple and straightforward. Their transparent buying process is designed to save you time and money with no surprises. It's easy, it's honest, and it's all for you. Visit them at nexttrangmc.com or take a short drive on 435. They don't just look different than other dealers, they are.
Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. were shut down for hours tonight. It comes after American Airlines says a plane blew out several tires after landing.
Flight 1551 blew one of its tires during takeoff.
4 tires blew out.
A disabled aircraft on the runway can easily shift from a simple inconvenience to an airport operations nightmare. The unfortunate outcome can often lead to a complete airport closure and, in some cases, significant airport financial losses. The solution is easy: Planesgate. Planesgate was designed as a simple, innovative method of removing disabled aircraft from your runway, quickly, safely, and efficiently. Planesgate is manufactured for both civilian and military aircraft. The sturdy design makes quick work of moving everything from corporate jets, turboprops, large, medium, and small piston twins, and almost every single-engine aircraft, including tailwheel and warbirds. Planesgate is extremely versatile and easy to use on multiple airport surfaces. Planesgate traverses large runway cracks, sand, dirt, and gravel with ease. Potholes, ice, snow, and grass are no challenge to Planesgate's mobility. And best of all, in most cases, you can clear a runway in less than 15 minutes with Planesgate. Now that's a game changer that'll keep your runway open. Discover more about keeping your airport operations running smoothly. Visit Planesgate.com and keep that runway open.
Dings, dents, or a full-on fender bender. When life happens to your car, you can trust the team that's been fixing it right for over 40 years. At CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, expert collision repair, precision paint matching, and detailing come standard with customer care that goes the extra mile. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 816-628-5621, or you can stop in for a repair estimate at 104 West Main Street in Kearney. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, where your car gets the care it deserves.
Every minute of every day, we reach your audience. On air, online, and in more places than any other media. Prime Broadcast Group. Exactly where you need to be.
Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School. Kearney wins the district semifinal game over Van Horn 67-20, joined by senior center, offensive captain, and quarterback of the offensive line, Travis Jarrett. And Travis, the first question I had for you, you guys racked up 225 yards rushing in the first half of this ball game. Just a dominant performance by the O-line. Talk to us a little bit about the O-line performance tonight in this game.
Well, it's kind of been a theme throughout the season. We kind of came in here like we're 50-50, like 50 pass, 50 run. And then kind of after Park Hill, when we realized maybe they have really athletic people, we can't pass a lot. It's kind of where we found out that mainly we are mainly a run team. And even at the O-line, we complain about it all the time because it sucks. You know, we take the hit every play, especially when we just run it the whole time. But if it's for the team win, it's really good. But no, the first half, I was like, maybe we should pass a little bit more because we're down the field. And then, they started talking to hit people after the play. So I'm like, how about instead of talking back, we hit back with our pads and, score on them and then send them home because we get to play next week.
That's right. I like that. Well, Coach Minnick talked to being the center on the offensive line. You're sort of the quarterback of the offensive line, and I think we understand that. But one thing that he said is that at the center position, you have to be able to be tough enough to take a controlled butt whipping. What does that mean from the center position on the offensive line?
I'm glad he used a nice select choice of words for you, but majority of the time it's like, because for me, since I'm short, I got short arms, I don't have a lot of space from the ball and like the neutral zone to the next D lineman. So sometimes when it's like, for example, Green Valley, their D tackle, number 52, he was really good and he was a lot taller than me. So it was kind of like walking into that game after the first play, kind of punched me in the mouth, and I was like, all right, I know my job in this game. As long as I take him out of the play, no question about it, we can get the team win. And it sucks a lot, but as long as we keep winning and keep winning playoffs, I'm okay with doing it.
I like that. Well, you had an older brother that played here for Kearney High School and had a really successful career on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Has he given you any pointers or tips here on playing in the trenches?
Not really. It's mainly just like when I come like, man, like my back or my foot hurts, he just, he's like, stop crying about it. Because he went through worse because, after season he had all of his problems, and then when he went to college he just continued. So he just told me, you won't go through what I went through, so just play your hardest every snap, because he said after his senior year, it was sad because he wasn't guaranteed another snap with any of his friends ever again. So I kind of took that to heart, and that's kind of how I play with all my friends out here.
Well, that's a great segue. One thing I wanted to ask you about, Kearney has a tradition for seniors to speak at Mojo Night. Every year, it's a 20-year tradition, I understand. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Mojo Night and anything special that came out of that conversation with the rest of the team.
I think, for me, Mojo Night, being the senior this year, not like watching all the seniors go up, it was really weird. And I wrote a speech for it, but then as I watched everyone else talk, I'm like, it's kind of like, to me, it's like reigniting a fire in a team that, it's been reigniting like a fire in the team that, because we've gone through ups and downs this season. We've gone through injuries, personal stuff within the team. But in the end, Mojo Night's kind of a time where we get together and the seniors get to talk about their experience and stuff. And even though it's really emotional and sad for a lot of us, it really is a good thing that I'm glad that we do. Because, again, you talk to all the underclassmen and you at least hope they take your advice for it.
Yeah, I like that. Well, you get to play another Friday, so Kearney advances to the district championship game next Friday night here from Kearney High School. They'll be taking on the Savannah Savages right here from Kearney High School. Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School as they defeat Van Horn 67-20.
All right, welcome back to the show. A terrific job by Lindsey Jarrett on that interview. Interesting that I spoke with him before we went on camera, and he had mentioned that he's done some public speaking and is kind of working on it. And I think for a young man at high school age, he is one of the best, the most poised in front of a camera that I have seen. And we've seen a lot of really good ones. But and I gave him this advice, and I would repeat it, that public speaking is a thing that scares just about everyone. And the only way you get good at it is to get out and do exactly that. You have to practice that craft. And I'm telling you, Lindsey Jarrett, if you want to, you've got a career in public speaking at any level, in any way. Great job on that interview, and the several funny parts, but the one good one, Coach, I think, was when he got his butt kicked by the guy from Green Valley, and just came back and he says, "I got punched in the mouth." And I thought, okay, good. Now I know what I need to do. Stand there and get punched in the mouth. And that was what I was thinking. And he just came back and says, "Yeah, no." He says, "I just need to keep this guy, stay in front of this guy."
Yeah, as Kelly said, and it's kind of funny, and we tell our centers that, your job is to take a controlled butt whooping. You've got to get your hat play side, because we pull guards all the time, and you're a little fire hydrant in there. And we've had some really good centers here, who were absolute war daddies in there. When you go back to your Jackson Cooks and your Tyrus Smiths, so he had huge shoes to fill this year, and has done a great job in there. And as he mentioned, he's not the biggest center. He's undersized in there, to be honest with you, but he makes up for that with his speed and his quickness and just tenacity in there. He's dirty tough, and and I can't believe, though, he said that offensive linemen hate running the football. That is the first time I've ever heard that. Normally they're like, please run the football. Trying to pass pro is the hardest thing, and it sucks. He's like, sucks running the ball this much. I'm going to let him call some plays this week and see if he wants to pass pro all night. But no, and Mike, you were right. I think that's one of the best interviews we've had. Yeah. A player do just how comfortable he was. It was like the camera wasn't even there. He was just looked like an old guy at a coffee shop, just shooting the breeze like, it was no big deal whatsoever. So he did a really good job with that.
Yeah, that's definitely what it felt like. It was like, well, we're just having a conversation here.
Yeah,
so.
and I think we went over our normal time. But Kelly, I mean, it's when you're having a conversation, nobody wants to go home, and it was great. Great on the air, and as you can see, just a terrific job and so entertaining. But those are the kinds of things that we've talked about year after year, that we find these little gems within your team, kids that have certain personalities and talents and skills, and they rise to the surface, and leadership, things that just come year after year. And that was one of the best this year. And it just makes you laugh, but it also makes you want to say, buddy, you've got a great future. And, you love seeing that. Where are we going with this thing? There was another thing that I wanted.
Are we going to do our play of the game?
You want let's go. Let's do that, Brian. Yep, he's shaking his head.
Yeah.
They're going to leave Gray in at quarterback. Two receivers split to the near side.
Maybe dialing up a blitz here, the Kearney defensive staff.
Gray takes a snap, fake handoff. He's under pressure. There's a intercepted at the 45-yard line. On the interception is Tucking, and Tucking's going to take it down to the 30. What beautiful timing on an interception by Luke Tucking.
All right, Luke Tucking, it just changed the momentum of this game. It has shifted, and it's shifted like a light switch, boys. I mean to tell you, that is all it takes. And I mean, you take it down, and ball's being placed on the 30-yard line, and now Kearney is back in business. Now let's get our offense going.
Great heads-up play by Tucking that time, and a good run back. Thought he might be able to get it all the way in.
All right, Coach, what about that play? Wasn't that something?
Yeah, great play by John Luke, and again, Dampier tripping him there so that no other defensive guys get touchdowns. But no, and we talked earlier, that was the momentum swing, and once we got that momentum, we kept it from that point going forward. And, and you guys always look, John Luke's kind of the bigger, thicker of the tucking boys, and he's more the thumper, and but he's just as athletic, and he can catch, and he used to play running back as well. So he's got some ball skills. I wish we could have got him into the end zone. Just it would have been really exciting to see how he would have reacted to getting into the end zone.
Now he caught a nice flat pass, didn't he? Or was
that was Luke?
Okay,
that's the other one. Yeah, we got too many. We got too many twins on this team, right?
Well, and it occurred to me the other night too that the two running backs. I mean, same thing, Corbin and
Cruz now.
And Cruz.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, we got brothers all over the place, and guys that it's hard keeping track of.
So, Coach, talk to us about that play a little bit. When we were calling the game, I thought maybe he was going to blitz. Walked up to the line a little bit. Tell us what happened there on that.
Yeah, that's shout out to Coach Brinkley there. We had John Luke on a blitz on that play, and they do their little check with me, clap, and check the sideline. Well, their coaches saw that we were going to blitz, so Coach Brinkley just, John, no, and so we pulled it off and ran coverage. Then the quarterback, I don't think the quarterback even looked. He just assumed there was going to be a blitz there, and he just threw it out there, and he hits John Luke right in the chest with it. So great play there by Coach Brinkley of making that adjustment, knowing they were going to try to exploit us in our blitz there, and then John Luke making the play.
Yeah, tremendous adjustment.
Yeah, and awesome insight. You see a play like that, and the play itself is often overshadowed by the nuance that, like you just described, and when you hear it, it makes it even more amazing.
Yeah.
But I do remember when you were saying that they're showing blitz.
Yeah, we're dialing it up here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we've got a couple of minutes left. Do I need to remind you to get yourselves out tomorrow night to the game at 7 o'clock, and we'll start the pregame show at 6:30, and Bulldogs versus the Savages, and this game is going to be a big one. The winner is the district champion, and the loser has to go home. So this game there's a lot at stake. And I am really looking forward to these. These are the ones, and the weather's going to be nice, for crying out loud, Coach. I mean, how
unbelievable weather.
Yes. So no reason to stay home on this one, and why would you?
Oh yeah, number 1 versus number 2 ranked teams in Class 4 playing for a district title. Kearney's earned the right to host it, which I think is a huge deal, and I know one of your goals every year, Coach. So get out there and support the Bulldogs tomorrow night.
You got it. See you next week on the Coach Minnick Show. Big game tomorrow night. See you out there.